Today we are going to unlock the secrets of command words and assessment objectives used in AS and A-level economics exam. Understanding these words is crucial because they tell you exactly what the examiners expect from your answers. First, let's understand what are command words. Command words are specific terms used in exam questions that guides you on how deeply you should explore a topic and how to structure your answer. They shape your answer, which is a key to scoring high marks. These are few examples of important command words you will come across: describe, explain, discuss, evaluate, and many more. Here I have provided a comprehensive list of the other command words you will need to know. Along with discussing these command words in detail, let us also understand another important aspect related to how your questions are graded. Assessment objectives. AOs in A-level economics exam generally evaluate a student's understanding, knowledge, and skills. The command word that is used in the question indicates the AOs that the question is designed to assess. This way, the knowledge of both command words and AOs is important. For example, a question that has the command word explain will assess assessment objective AO1 and AO2, but it will not assess evaluation, that is AO3. Understanding these objectives is crucial because they help you see what each question is targeting. Let's discuss each one in detail. First is your AO1, which is knowledge and understanding. Under this objective, you are expected to demonstrate clear knowledge and understanding of economic concepts and theories. When a question asks you to describe, it is often assessing your AO1 skill. For instance, if you are asked to describe how supply and demand affect prices, you should provide detailed definitions and show how these concepts interact without necessarily evaluating their implications. AO2 is analysis. Analysis involves applying your knowledge to specific situations to explain how economic principles work in real scenarios. Command words like analyze, explain often signal AO2. You will need to go beyond just describing by linking causes and effects. For example, analyzing the impact of an interest rate increase on consumer spending requires you to connect higher rates with potential decreases in spending through the cost of borrowing. The third one is evaluation. Evaluation is all about judging the effectiveness or impact of economic models and theories. This is where you discuss the strengths, weaknesses, or potential outcomes of economic scenarios. Common words like evaluate or assess direct you to this objective. You should expect one or two questions with this command word definitely. It is crucial to present a balanced argument, critique different perspectives, and possibly suggest alternatives or conditions under which a theory holds. For example, you have evaluate the effectiveness of monetary policy in controlling inflation. Now I have taken few past questions where we'll apply the understanding of assessment objectives and common words together. The questions I picked to discuss have common command words which have been repeatedly asked in past papers and have very high probability of coming again. Let's start. The first command word is assess. You will find one question definitely with this command word in your paper. Now, first of all, what it means. Assess means to make an informed judgment. And the guidance is that you should write both sides of a particular issue and then come to a supported conclusion about which, if any, is best. This is a question from past paper, and I'm using the mark scheme shared by the Cambridge. Now, this question we will try to understand here that how the command word is given and what kind of answer the board is expecting. The question is that some firms frequently use price discrimination. Assess the view that when this occurs, price discrimination will always benefit the producer at the expense of the consumer and society. Now, the question starts with the statement that some firms frequently use price discrimination. So, it means that we can start the answer with the key features for effective price discrimination. Price discrimination occurs when a company sells the same product to different customers at different prices. For effective price discrimination to take place, two conditions must be met. Either the seller must have the ability to control price, to set prices, or the markets must be separable with differing price sensitivities or elasticities of demand. You can also add a practical example to illustrate this meaning. Imagine a software company that charges lower prices in developing countries than in developed ones, or movie theaters offering discounted tickets to students and seniors. Now, another thing they expect us to write is an explanation or analysis of at least one model of price discrimination to show the effect on the producer. So let's analyze a model of price discrimination to see how it impacts a producer. Now, suppose a producer segments the market into two groups based on price elasticity. For the group with more elastic demand, the price is set lower to increase the quantity sold, leading to higher overall revenue from increased sales. Conversely, he will charge a higher price to the less price-sensitive group, maximizing profit from each unit sold. What can be the effect on consumers? On the consumer side, price discrimination can mean paying different prices for the same product, which will depend on individuals' price sensitivity. Now, here you have achieved the first two objectives of AO1 and AO2. Let us go back to our command word assess. Make an informed judgment. As a matter of rationality, this statement makes sense that the producer would always benefit. It's a true statement. Here you are making an informed judgment. Now, the guidance says that to assess means that we should look at both the pros and cons and then come to a supported conclusion. So, it means we need to evaluate this properly. So, this is the mark scheme shared by the board regarding evaluation. The pros are that making profits is justified because it allows the producers, they can invest more in research and development, which in turn can ultimately benefit the consumer or society. It can also help in improving the balance of payment problem. The disadvantage is that this practice can lead to consumer surplus being transferred from consumers to producers as consumers in less elastic markets end up paying more. So the mark scheme is showing us that we need to focus on pros and cons. Now the assessment of the statement, if you look here, what does it show is related to our command word assess. Now if you go back to the question again, this is our question. Now here if you look at, you have explored both sides of a particular issue, and if you look at the question again, you can say that the first part of the question, that price discrimination will always benefit the producer, is correct. But the second part of the question, that it is at the expense of the consumer and society, it is debatable. I hope you have understood that how we are going to look at command words and how we are going to apply from the structure of our essay based on the command word being used in the question. Now let us come to another common command word, evaluate. What it means: judge or calculate the quality, importance, amount, or value of something. The guidance is that we should aim to make a reasoned judgment and include a supported conclusion on the merits or otherwise. This is another question from past paper. Evaluate the effectiveness of using monetary policy to reduce the rate of inflation and how this policy may affect a government's ability to achieve its other macroeconomic aims. Now, in this question, you can begin with a brief introduction of monetary policy, explaining it as a tool used by central banks to manage inflation and stabilize the economy. Define key terms like interest rate, money supply, role of the central bank. So the theory part can be that where you can explain that how interest rates can reduce inflation, practically your contractionary monetary policy. You can explain that higher interest rates increase the cost of borrowing, reduce consumer spending and business investment, leading to lower demand and lower inflation. You can also provide few real world examples or data showing instances if you have. Then you can discuss what is the impact on other macroeconomic aims like your economic growth, employment, and like you need to achieve low unemployment, economic growth, balance of payments equilibrium, how this will impact that. So for example, you can discuss that how higher interest rates can slow down economic growth as borrowing costs will rise, potentially leading to lower investment and higher unemployment. You need to discuss the trade-offs that government face when using monetary policy to control inflation while trying to achieve other goals like full employment and economic growth. So this is where you can even use Phillips curve analysis. So mention how different economic conditions might alter the effectiveness of monetary policy. So practically you are discussing the relationship between inflation and the trade-off between inflation and other macroeconomic objectives up until now. When you are doing evaluation, we need to weigh the benefits of controlling inflation against the possible negative effects on probably economic growth or employment. So you can discuss here any limitations of monetary policy, the time lag in the effect of policy changes, the impact of global economic conditions, and the potential for uncertainty in economic forecasting, the expectations. You can also compare with other economic policies like fiscal policy, discussing that when monetary policy might be more effective or appropriate. Basically, you need to summarize the key points made in the end and reaffirm the complexity of using monetary policy effectively. State that while it is a powerful tool for controlling inflation, it must be used judiciously to balance other economic objectives. So need to use specific examples and data wherever possible to support your argument. And also you need to be very, very clear mentioning the trade-off and interconnections between different economic variables. If you use this structured approach, it will help you provide a comprehensive and thoughtful evaluation, which will demonstrate both your understanding and how you are able to critically analyze the question. I hope this helps. So you can even read the points expected by the Cambridge regarding this question. This is their mark scheme. The third command word is compare. What it means: identify or comment on similarities and or differences. And the guidance is that we should make sure that our answer really does compare two things in terms of their similarities and differences and not just state what these things are. The fourth command word is consider, which means to review and respond the given information. And the guidance is that we should make a brief point that contains some evaluation. Now I have taken a question which uses both the command words together. The question is, compare the causes of structural unemployment and cyclical unemployment and consider which of these types of unemployment is likely to be more harmful to an economy. The mark scheme says that we need to allot up to 3 marks for AO1 knowledge and understanding, 3 marks for AO2 analysis, and up to 2 marks for AO3 evaluation. The first 2 assessment objectives are related to the command word compare. Now let's look at what is structural unemployment and what are its characteristics, and similarly we need to depict what do we understand by cyclical unemployment. So structural unemployment, you can talk about that it arises due to changes in the economy that permanently alter the types of jobs available, usually driven by technological advances, globalization, or shifts in consumer preference. The problem with this is that it's a long-lasting problem and it requires retraining or relocation of workers. So you are trying to give a clear picture of the differences between the two. So now we talk about cyclical unemployment, which occurs because of economic downturns such as recessions, where overall demand for goods and services drop. And the characteristics is that it's a temporary and it varies with the business cycle. It recovers as the economy improves. So you are using these two assessment objectives here to compare structural unemployment and cyclical unemployment. The AO3 objective is based on the command word consider. You remember the question was consider which of these types of unemployment is likely to be more harmful to an economy. So now we need to look at both structural unemployment and cyclical unemployment. So you need to give one evaluation point here. So usually you will find that structural unemployment is generally more harmful because it's long term, it leads to skills erosion. It is very hard to address this problem through an economic policy. But the cyclical unemployment, while impactful during downturns, it typically resolves as the economy recovers and can be more directly managed by your standard fiscal or monetary policies. So you are trying to offer a valid judgment here, and you need to reach a conclusion that structural unemployment is generally more harmful. So I hope this helps you to understand that how each command word in the question is related to your assessment objectives as well. So looking at the command word will let you know how much to focus on AO1, AO2 or AO3. So the knowledge of both command words and your assessment objectives is important. Now these are just few tips for using command words effectively. So when you are reading the questions in the exam, highlight the command word in each question. This helps to keep your answer focused. That's very, very important. Second is you need to practice writing answers that cater specifically to different command words. It will help you get comfortable with varying your responses according to the question's demands, like we did in this presentation, that I took 4 different command words and we looked at that how they impacted the answer. So what you can do, go to your past papers, pick a question with different command word, try to attempt the answer while preparing for your exam. You should also always remember to incorporate relevant examples to support your explanations, especially when you are trying to discuss or evaluate, because this will help you to strengthen your argument. Now that's a wrap on command words and assessment objectives. Remember, understanding these words is your first step in crafting successful exam responses. Believe in yourself and don't let anything stop you from achieving your goals. These are strategies which will help you a lot. Remember, it's not just about what you know, rather it's about how you present it in the paper. Wish you all the good luck. Do well. You can follow and subscribe to my channel to get more useful videos related to economics. Bye.